YouTube, it's your boy Above Average Cody coming at you with the long-awaited new PC build video. As you guys can obviously see here in the background, this is going to be a really fun one for all you PC nerds or people just really interested in the new PC build. I'm going to show you guys the PC that I'm coming from. I'm going to show you all the components that went into the new PC because I kept all the boxes so I don't miss anything. And then I'm going to talk about some of the nuances of building it, some things I still want to do to it, and some of the really cool features that actually came with this build, and I'm really excited, so let's dive right on into it. So first things first, we got my Frankenstein build here. So this was just a first-timer build that I did years ago. My buddy actually built it for me. It is full of dust because I didn't care for it very well, but it still runs like brand new. But we got a 3070 8GB card in here. We're actually going to a 16 gig in that build. Obviously regular air cooled, got some Corsair fans. One of them is actually missing the blade, and I call this the Frankenstein build because when I first built it, I went all black because it was cheaper, and then all of a sudden I wanted to start going with some white parts. So it's a white and a black build, and I think it looks really hideous. It's got a mixed bag of stickers on the front, and I grew accustomed to not even enjoying looking into this thing. It's still got DDR4 RAM. It has regular old normal SSDs. It doesn't have M.2s. So that was a really big pull for the new build, was to make a build that would future-proof me further rather than ripping this whole thing apart, because honestly, I don't even like this, I'd call it like an entry-level next case at this point anyways. And this is the PC I've been gaming on for pretty much the entirety of the channel. And now we're going to that bad boy over there. And now we're on to this absolute monstrosity. This gigantic case is the Corsair 6500X RGB. When I first saw this case, I fell in love with it. Obviously, it is a tank. I think where it really grows in size is the width here. And the width in the front is actually an extra channel for your fans to kind of sit back, and you get some extra cable management off to the side here, and then your power supply and everything is actually stored in the back there in that little build area behind the board and stuff like that. And the reason this is an RGB style case is because it actually comes with the 3 fans in the back already installed, and it comes with a Corsair IQ hub, which I'll get into all of that stuff in a bit. I'm going to show you all the components in it first, and I'll kind of talk about the actual build process and stuff like that. So the first thing that you don't even see is I have a Corsair RM1000X 1000 watt power supply. This box sounds crazy because it has all of my cables and extra parts in it, because that was just a really nice box to fit everything in there. So you obviously can't even see that. And on to, we'll talk about the cooler, because this is my first AIO cooled build. Obviously I just showed you guys the air cooler with the fan on it. That's the only cooler I've ever been accustomed to, because that's just what my buddy had me put in my first build. So now we have a Titan 360 RX RGB. This is the gigantic fan and radiator thing attached to the top of the PC, because that was probably the best place to put it without the braided cooler cables getting in the way. And then it obviously goes to the right on top of the processor there. And that is, I think, really nice. I really like these little Corsair bands they put on the sides of the fans, because they actually light up with the RGB, and this obviously lights up too. I wanted an LED screen. I actually got all of this stuff bundled together. I got the cooler, the power supply, and the case bundled together, and I saved a ton of money. So I did not get an LCD screen for the processor mount part, but this is actually a magnetic disc, and to my understanding, I think you can actually buy like a $100 upgrade to convert this Titan 360 cooler to an LCD screen. I'm not sure if that is 100% accurate, but it's actually crazy that that just magnetically sits on there. So if you don't even want the Corsair logo, you can just pop it off, or you can do, I believe, an upgrade to turn it into an LCD screen. Now, some of the more fun stuff, guys, for motherboard, we've got a MSI Ext 870 Tomahawk Wi-Fi. I've never had a Wi-Fi board, but honestly, I figured why not? If I'm future-proofing and kind of doing an everything build, I may as well just go for the Wi-Fi, even though I run wired Ethernet. But I've just always had an MSI motherboard, so it was kind of tomato-tomato. I just got something that was compatible with everything else, especially the Ryzen 7 9800 X3D processor. Now, this is just the little tiny empty box. Of course, you can't see the processor either, but the thing is pretty beefy. It seems to be one of the top gaming processors right now. I read a lot of great reviews about it. It was a bit of money to go with that over, I believe it's the 7800 X3D, but I don't think I'm going to regret the little bit of extra money. And now, guys, what everybody wants to see, I won't make you wait anymore. Most of you already know because I've been talking about it nonstop. I went with a Gigabyte 4070 Ti Super. I really wanted a 16 gigabyte card, and the market is just bananas right now. You can't get 50 series. If you get a 50 series, you're having problems with the 50 series. If you want a higher end 40 series, you are paying hundreds and hundreds over MSRP. The market's bananas. There's a lot of scams going around. So this is probably the most nerve-wracking part to buy for the computer, but performance-wise, I don't think I'm going to regret it because I wanted to spend enough money where I'm getting a really good upgrade over my 3070, which anything's an upgrade over the 8 gigabytes I was getting, but I didn't want to spend so much that I'm spending more money on the card than I am all the rest of the parts. So I'm not going to lie to you, I got this for about $1,200, guys. The reason I pulled the trigger faster than I planned to is because they were going for $1,400, and once I saw a listing for $200 less, I pulled the trigger. It was from a very reliable company. They had the Newegg purchase protection. They sent a video of the box sealed with the label showing that it's the right card, and it came in perfect condition. Everything worked. It was great, and it was fantastic. There's one thing with the card that is a problem that I'll talk about in a little bit here. I'll do that last on the parts thing, but I'm really excited, guys. I'm getting about 400 frames on low settings on Halo. I'm getting 250 on Ultra with ray tracing, and I'm getting over 200 on Call of Duty on Ultra everything. So it's going to be a beefcake card, that's for sure. Now we have Corsair Vengeance RGB. This is just the RAM I've always run, but based on a lot of your guys' recommendations in chat and the IT professionals that helped me build this thing, shout out George Trevor Cole for just assisting so much and even willing to let me bring the build to them to do it. I did all of the building, but their minds are much better than mine on this stuff, so they helped me out a lot. I did 64 gigs of RAM on 2 RAM sticks. So there's 2 32 sticks here on the board, because I had no idea that actually works better than 4 sticks. I've always run 4 just because I like the 4 sticks of RGB, but I was informed that performance-wise, you actually get a lot more out of the 2 main slots that they want you to put them in first rather than just slamming 4 RAM sticks into the computer. And then I'm only showing you guys this. This is the M.2 2 terabyte SSD, the Samsung 990 Pro. I went with 2 terabyte because 1 terabyte was like $100 and 2 terabytes I got for $160. So I'm saving $40 on that 2nd terabyte. No brainer, especially if you run your games on an SSD, which trust me, you should be. And I had no idea, dude. So I've always had the classic SSDs going into the back and getting mounted into the mess where you just slam the cover on. But the little thing actually pops off. It's behind this little tomahawk little top plastic piece. I'll do my best to zoom in there. It's right underneath the CPU mount and then right above the card. I had no idea, A, how easy it snaps in, B, it was smaller than I thought, and C, you literally don't even see it. It's pretty cool, and it's actually a big performance upgrade. Might as well cover the other drive. I've got a 4 terabyte here that I have not even put in yet because we didn't want to put it in and have the cable get messed up because I've heard they're pretty touchy. So in terms of transporting it, to be more careful, I ran the cables up, but I still have to put that in the PC. And then we have some Asiahorse, I don't know, cables. What sucks about this is a full set of PC cables. It's an extension cable kit, so it actually connects to the existing cables to the power supply, but I could only use this one right here. So that is obviously the power to the board. It looks great. This whole kit was worth it just for that cable, but I only needed that cable. There's more cables in here that I just did not even get to use because they only show about, like, you guys probably won't even see them. This little area up here, that's all you see. You see literally maybe an inch, if that, of the cable coming out from behind the board. Granted, that has a lot to do with case, where you choose to run the cables, but I prefer to see as little cable as possible. I'm sure most of you are similar. So it literally just goes zip right up over into the board, which we'll talk about the case and running cables in a bit. But that was a bit of luxury, I guess, with the case that I went with. But so that's why I didn't use 2 of them. And obviously it comes with these cable combs to keep them all straight and lined up, which looks really good. And now we'll start talking about the build itself and what's going on in here, guys, with the final part here, because this is also from that same company. It is an RTX 16-pin cable. I believe this works with the higher 3090s, 40 series, and 50 series cards because they have the 16-pin connector. It came with a little cable. I think I actually have it in this box so I can show you. It came with this little cable. This is your GPU cable. So that connects right into the GPU, goes down and connects to your two PCI cables, I believe they're called. Still not a professional. That's why I have IT guys helping me. And it was just so touchy. I read reviews before I even got the card, and everybody said that they don't know if they cheaped out, NVIDIA cheaped out on these cables or what, but this was a very touchy cable. We couldn't get it to feed to the monitor through DisplayPort. We tried the HDMI, we unplugged it, reseated it, and then eventually we got it. New cable, zero issues. So if you are getting I mean, this is a 4070 Ti, so I guess I can only speak for that. Replace this cable. You might not regret it. But yeah, so same thing, braided cable, right down, went right under the center of the back of the case and right up. The only thing is the cable combs with this cable or that cable, same company, are clear, not black. So I bought the regular cables. You get the black combs that match the cable. I buy the GPU cable. It comes with clear combs that don't match the cable, and I checked the box from the other stuff and it doesn't have the right amount of combs to make the cable look nice. So it just looks a little bit silly. I might even paint them black or see if I can get some replacement combs just to make it make sense there. So this case, guys, is actually really crazy. They sell a vertical GPU mount, which I am trying to get, but the black is sold out. They only have, you guessed it, a white vertical mount, which I'm not turning this into a Frankenstein build. I'm going with the all black, very clean look. We got the dark cabinets. We got the dark butcher block on the desk. So I'm staying all black on everything. The only colors I'm going to get is from the lights, the RGB lighting. So I'll be doing that ASAP. I also want some fans for the bottom, but I can't pull the trigger on fans for the bottom because I don't know how much space and how low the vertical mount's going to sit. So I have to wait until I get the vertical mount before I think about getting more fans for the bottom. So pretty much I just have a big, it really bothered me in the thumbnail I made for this video. I have a big, black hole of space at the bottom, but it's a really good problem to have because the cables, guys, were so easy to run on this thing. And I'm going to turn a little bit so I can kind of show you what I'm talking about. And that is, there's these big rectangular openings in the back where the cables can just go swoop right down into the back to your power supply. You also have extra channels here in the metal part of the case where you can sneak through, and you have even more of those big rectangular ones that cover up the wires really good up top, so it made it really easy to run wires. And the final thing I want to talk about in the front here of the PC, I'll just show you guys what a mess the back looks like, because it's like, no matter what build you do, it seems like there's nothing glamorous about where you put the back panel on, but that's why there's a back panel there. And that is the IQ link. If you guys noticed on all of the parts that I got bundled, it says IQ link on everything. And that's because Corsair actually has a really cool system where you connect two wires to the hub for the RGB, and you just run them up, and all of these, the fans, the cooler fans, and then the cooler itself on the processor, all have a connector for that cable. And as long as you have power going to the hub, obviously, and then coming from the hub to each of these Corsair items, they all link together and you can daisy chain them. So even if, say, my fans aren't connected to the hub, as long as the cooler fans are connected to the hub, I can just take an IQ cable off of this and plug it into the fans, and it automatically chains it all to the system. And I think you can have like 7 different components all linked up. And then obviously I went with the Corsair RAM as well. So when I open their software, which I really don't mind, it's not the best software ever, but I've used it for so long where it's pretty easy. And a lot of their presets are really cool, so you don't have to get too in depth. It's just one click of a button and zoom, all of your RGBs are all linked up. It's easy. You're not sitting there for an hour trying to make your PC look the way you want it to, because they already thought of pretty much everything. And of course the glass door is just so nice, dude. On the next case I had to take out 2 little screws and then pop the glass off really hard, and then snapping it back in was even scarier. But just nice little hinged front pane of glass. snaps right in magnetically. All the tops and everything are all magnetic. They just pop right up. So getting in here to clean is a wicked breeze, and it's going to be less daunting to just kind of clean out and keep this thing in top running shape. And as always, I'm very real with y'all on the channel here, so I'll show you guys the less glamorous part of the build here, and that, of course, is going to be the back panel area where we run all of our cables to. This is very easy to take on and off. And as you can see, it looks like a bomb went off. But the really nice part about this case is, with normal mid-tower cases being my entry-level case that I was on, I call it entry-level, but it is a good case, don't get me wrong, and Next is a very good brand. You actually have areas where you can push your wires into and they can sit freely, as opposed to having this much space where you just slap that back panel on and say, see ya, and then forget about it, worry about crimping a wire, bending a wire, things like that. The only thing that really bugs me is my Corsair mount is not, or my Corsair hub, this is the IQ hub I was talking about, it's not mounted to anything. It's magnetic, it comes with sticky tape, and I still have it just floating, because that was just easier at the time. The hard drive rack, all these racks literally slide in and out. It's so damn easy to get a hard drive in and out of there. And then, of course, the power supply, which you guys haven't seen yet. It has a variable fan speed, which, if somebody in the comments, if there's any PC gurus, what instance would I want a higher or slower fan speed? Obviously, if it gets hotter, you turn the fan speed up, but it sounds like a jet engine. So I'm kind of leaving it like 50-50 in the middle, because I figure that's just a good place to have it. And then, of course, guys, this just snaps right back in like so, and then you just tighten the two little screws, which I can't even see if they're lining up right now. So I might just do that post video here, just because it's hard to keep everything in frame and also get it lined up for you guys. Actually, I think I got it right there. Perfect. And the reason I want to put this back on while I'm yapping here is these three fans, this whole thing is graded. So you can see through it if it's lit up. Like, you can see the three fans through the back, but you can't see all this because it's too dark and obviously like vented. And so you can see if you really like shine a light in there, but you can't see so well enough. Like, this looks really clean. It looks wicked good. And I'm just so impressed with the build altogether. You can get a design for this. You can even add a design on the front part of the case, like a wood grain. They have like a cool like obsidian with like black with like etched design in it, which is what I wanted. But again, I got the bundle with the all black case, which is fine for how much money I saved with this, the power supply, and then of course the cooler. But yeah, guys, I'll plug it back in. I'll show you guys the RGB once more. We'll wrap this video right up. So I will mention I don't currently have any regrets with the PC build. It was definitely a bit of money, but I guess my only regret would be the card, because I spent so much over MSRP. But with the way the market is and the timing for me, it wasn't that I had to pay it, but the timing was just right to kind of pull the trigger. And I feel like I got an okay deal getting it for $1,200 instead of $1,400, but tomato. The only reason this is possible is because of all you guys supporting the channel. Some of you are nice enough to donate. Some of you are in stream every single day, and there's a lot of you that just support the content in so many different ways. And I mentioned this in another video, but it really just keeps me wanting to improve. It keeps me wanting to keep like improving the content for you guys, but also keep taking steps forwards as not only a content creator, but just as a human being in general. And obviously this is like just spending money. Anybody can spend money and do a PC build, but it's like the time and effort that went into selecting all this stuff, you know, building the desk, doing this whole room. It's really for you guys, and I wouldn't be able to do it without you guys supporting the channel, is kind of what I'm trying to say. I'll never be able to put my appreciation into words. I've always said that since the beginning. But so yeah, thank you everybody that made this possible. And this is going to be the stream PC for the foreseeable future. We are, of course, future-proof for a few years, so we shouldn't have to do too much with this build. I just really want to try to hunt down a vertical mount, maybe get a couple more fans, but most importantly, see what this bad boy can do on stream. So Tuesday, guys, we will be in the new stream room on the new PC. I've got a lot of setting up to do. Obviously, you don't see my monitors and stuff like that, so I really got to get moving here. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the PC build video. Anything I left out, any questions, anything you want to say, leave it down below in the comment section. Outside of that, subscribe to the channel. We're going to be wicked ramping up the Halo content. I've got a lot of other other videos outside of gaming, talking about the desk, talking a little bit more about finishing up the room. A lot of content's going to be coming. We're really going to be ramping it up. So hit that sub button, leave a thumbs up on the video. Already mentioned, leave a comment. And of course, guys, channel memberships and super thanks. I'm actually down in the negatives pulling the trigger on this card early, so feel free to support monetarily, but please don't feel like you have to, guys. I appreciate all the support regardless. And that does it. Just really wanted to show you guys the new PC, and hopefully you enjoyed the video. Stay happy, stay healthy, and stay tuned for the next one, y'all.